police were called to the home on New Year's Day. Responding officers found graffiti painted on her garage door and a pig's head left in the driveway. The graffiti referenced $2,000 COVID relief payments and canceling rent. The messages have since been covered with garbage bags, and the pig's head was removed. Police continue to investigate.
Hello, everyone. So we have an interesting topic for you today. Once again, Nancy Pelosi's house is vandalized. They got their garage door, they got their driveway coming out. They painted graffiti all over the front of it. And what we want to say is pig's blood or red paint with an actual pig's head. And we're going to go a little Batman detective with this. Who in the world would actually spend the time or not be revolted or disgusted by hauling around a pig's head? Probably maybe some butcher of some kind, or they got it from a butcher. Everything else you can pretty much get at any local hardware store or thrift shop. A $1 can of spray paint is not unheard of. But these type of things happening on both sides of Congress, at both homes, leaders, it only really tells you one thing, that regardless of which side you're on, red, blue, green, yellow, black, or white, American citizens in general are fed up with Congress and government. None of us can actually say that we're happy with our government right now. If you were to tell us that you are happy with your government, we would call you liars. This government thinks $600 after several months of being on lockdown is sufficient to keep you going. We argue a few things like $600 in Texas is different than $600 in New York. It's situations like that where the stimulus makes no sense. The cost of living in those areas are quite different. But this is only going to escalate. People are actually starting to get very desperate. We're even seeing conservatives come out and attack police, and that's something we're not used to seeing. We've seen them get into scuffles, sure. We've seen a couple of issues here with a couple of wackadoos that you would get on either side, but nothing to where actual conservatives are now fighting police. And we've grown accustomed to the idea that maybe, just maybe, the Democrats did everything they could to get rid of any good police officers. And now what's left is their Democrat enforcers. What's left are people willing to take a paycheck no matter the cost. Actual good cops were driven off when you called them racist, when you called them deplorable, when you went after them for every single racist charge you could. But it honestly seems like there's some type of revolution brewing, and it's bursting at the seams. People are very mad and they're very fed up with this nonsense. Now, what we are going to do here at Dang It, we're going to go ahead and show you this clip, but we're also going to add another clip and explain why people are doing this, why they're angry. And we bring it to you in the form of a Portland mayor I think we all know. We saw him supporting the Antifa group, literally out in the crowd, getting gassed by these horrible government agents.
There are three things that I'm committing to today on this first day of 2021. First, I'm calling on our federal, our state, our county, and our local law enforcement partners to convene with me to develop clear plans to address anarchist violence, both here in the city of Portland and throughout the state. This should happen as soon as possible, even as soon as next week. My office will work on the logistics of that convening. Second, I'm also calling on the state legislature to increase penalties for people who repeatedly engage in criminal destruction and vandalism to ensure that they can be held accountable for the cumulative impact of their illegal actions. We need to look at reforms that improve our ability to video record and otherwise gather intelligence on these small groups of organized criminals. Third, in addition to stronger penalties and new law enforcement tools, I believe people convicted of criminal destruction should be required to meet with the employees and owners of the businesses that they damage. These people need to hear and to understand the social and human consequences of their irresponsible actions.
But after so much denial, this man is coming out saying that anybody who's protesting should meet up with people who they destroyed their home or destroyed their work, their job, their business. They should meet up with them, they should pay the cost of it, and they should be going to jail. Just like any normal human being would say in that particular situation, all of a sudden, it's back to normal. We find a way to get rid of Trump. We sabotage our own city, our own state, just so we can look bad enough that it makes it bad on Trump. Now that all the political stuff is supposedly over, we can go back to normal, right? It was all sabotage of a country. But make no mistake, this man doesn't like patriots at all. If you rally for Trump, this is what he's talking about. The riots and looting, that's what he's complaining about. People from the Trump side doing that sort of thing. And maybe, just maybe now he has a point. Because a lot of the police officers that are out there, there are not many good left. Many of the good officers probably left trying to survive and keep their family afloat and keep it to where they weren't being attacked on a daily basis. These cops are still out there, they're just not in uniform. But this man, he changes his mind after playing politics with people's lives. All it is another leftist who helps create violence, creates poverty, more theft, more arson, more looting, and then acts like they've done nothing wrong and has nothing to do with it. It really is like clockwork with these leftist liberal Democrats. It is a playbook that they use over and over again. This is why Nancy Pelosi's front driveway gets pooped on. This is why people leave bloody pigs' heads on her front driveway. Because the hypocrisy is real, folks. Nancy Pelosi herself said the 600 was enough. Why else would it be getting okayed by any kind of Congress in the first place if 600 wasn't enough? So obviously Pelosi, in her let's not read it first and just sign it approach, thought $600 was sufficient for the average American. Let me be clear, a small home in Iowa is over $600 per month. So explain to me how in the world $600 makes any bit of difference to anyone's condition right now. If you really cared about them, you would stop the lockdown nonsense. Allow them to work and pick up where they started. Ironically enough, the stuff that was spray painted on Pelosi's front driveway was that they wanted everything. In bold letters, quote, "We want everything." And $600 is a pittance. Now your own left-wing, crazy loon liberals are attacking their own people. Now we don't know if this is a conservative nut job. We don't know if this is a liberal nut job. We don't know what nut job did this. We tip our hat to actually doing it to Nancy Pelosi, but still we can't condone the things we've been condemning. So in the same token, the lady deserves it, but we don't think it's right to do it on either side of the aisle. But it's the hypocrisy that we want to point out. The same thing as Hillary. Didn't believe in gay marriage until it was really an important political ideology. Then all of a sudden, I don't really care if people get married. We can call it a civil union. We can do whatever. But no, I don't hate gays. But we have you on tape saying that you didn't agree with any kind of marriage with gays. Not that we care or not about the politics of the situation. It's the fact that you're a hypocrite. You're only there for the political limelight. And it's pretty obvious with the Democrats always supporting Democrats, no matter if they're charged with sexual allegations, no matter if they've climbed the ladder of success by riding people's laps or stealing. They don't care. As long as their hands are painted green, they will always vote with their own party. It's not a system that's set up for the benefit of us, Americans. Maybe we could call de Blasio and ask him about the dancing that went on in Times Square. That was horrible dancing, de Blasio. I mean, if you're going to tell everyone not to come to this Times Square ball thing, then why did you show up and dance so badly? Anyway, folks, you guys have a wonderful afternoon, a good night, a good morning, whichever. Please like, share, and subscribe. We really do appreciate that around here. Also, drop a comment down below. We like to talk with you. We like to pick your brain. And if you have any ideas for new videos, drop a comment down below. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell. If you don't hit the notification bell, sometimes you're not going to get our videos. God bless each and every one of you. See ya.